Hello, wealthy family, and thank you for coming and sharing some time with me today, especially on what I'm going to talk about today's topic. Um, this is something that we all possess, whether we're aware of it or not. This is something that is natural. This energy, this feeling, this emotion, this knowing has been with us since birth. So it is the one most thing that knows us, that's familiar to us, and that's your self esteem, your opinion of yourself. And somewhere along the way, many of us have allowed our self esteem, our self opinion to be shifted, shaped, molded from other people, by other people, I should say. And that's something that we can change. It's not something that's permanent. Because if you know one thing about the universe, or rather, if I know one thing about the universe, it's that the one constant thing is change. Nothing ever stays the same. Nothing. Everything is always being shaped and molded and shifted and changed. So, why not your opinion of yourself? Because what exactly does your opinion of yourself do? What does it what effect does it really have on your life? Well, everything, right? Before you make a decision, you may have that gut feeling or that gut reaction, whether you listen to it or not, whether you are aware of it or not, whether you tune into it or not. It's there. You normally have that first thought or that first mind, and that's you. That's yourself. But sometimes we allow that to be drowned out by what others think of us and what others may expect from us, or what the majority of the people who are around us think, and we lose ourselves. But there's so many things that can be done to make it into what it is that you want. Your self esteem is malleable. You can, it's like clay, right? You can form it and shift it to anything that you want it to be. And that's amazing. However, our society today, the society that we live in, that we have to work in, the majority of the people in that society do not live a life of joy and happiness. So, how can they tell you how to have joy and happiness? They can't. Unfortunately, not to the best way of serving you. So, the best way to experience a life full of happiness, full of confidence, full of abundance, full of gratitude, full of love, full of appreciation, is to start doing things that make you happy, because that's going to build your self-esteem, is going to build your self-confidence. You're going to start making little promises to yourself, and that's going to allow you to know that you can trust yourself, allowing you to accept yourself and therefore accept others for whatever it is that they may have. We are all here for a reason, for a purpose. And a lot of the time, those gifts are buried, those purposes are buried behind what someone else thinks of you, and you later on adapt that feeling as your own. I remember when I was in elementary school in Broward County. Yep. I was in, yeah, not going to say the name of my school, but I yeah. And I had a lot of friends. I was, the associated one, the happy, the bubbly, the whatever, the pretty girl. I was that. And one of the most popular guys that was around during the time, he had the good Lunchables or something. I don't know. But I mean, we were in elementary school. But he and I were good friends. We were cool. Like, we run in the same crowd. And one day he started hanging out with an Italian boy. And I only say it to draw the contrast, okay, so you can see it. So he started hanging out with this Italian boy, and the Italian boy started talking about all the hair on his body and then all the hair on my body. And when I was growing up, I had like really hairy arms, and we're of Caribbean descent, so we have our culture, our DNA, our blood is a little bit different. And I had like hair on my back, like, I didn't, it wasn't like, ugh, but I had little fuzz on my back. And like, more than your average child, okay? And he was like, yeah, look at her and da 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 da. And then they started making fun of me. And I'm like, bruh, you look just like me. What is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you doing that? But then it started making me shape and form an opinion of myself of, I have too much hair on my body. I'm not cute. That doesn't make me, that's unappealing to not just me, but other people. So I went home and I got my sister's razor and I shaved my arms. I went to town and I went to shave. Well, I didn't shave my legs, but I went to shave like my back, like the small of my back, and was trying to get. And by then she came and she was like, "What are you doing?" Like, when I was done, I rinsed off, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Look, I'm smooth. I'm good." And she was like, "Why did you shave your arms? Like, that's insane. That's crazy. You are fine. You don't need to change with who you are based off what it is that someone said." And that was the first time that I kind of got that reassurance. Okay, don't do that. And then I told my big brother, and he went to the school and handled that bully boy. And that was the last thing I was picked on regarding that. But that hurt my self-esteem, and that planted a series of subconscious triggers about how my body looks in its natural state. I didn't get a relaxer until I was in middle school, like almost towards the end of middle school. And I used to get picked on all the time, and I used to beg, "Can I please get a relaxer?" My mom was like, "No." And finally she gave in, and she didn't even take me. She sent me with one of her other friends, because she was so upset that I got a relaxer. But she wanted to make me happy, so I went and I did that. But the relaxer would always burn my head, and I'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. What is this?" So I say that to say this. I was fine without it, because as you see now, I'm going through a transition right now. And, it took me a while to get here, but I was like, no, this is where I want to be. This is where I need to be. A place of comfortability, a place of, despite what others have said about me, whether it's in the present or in the past, something that's planted that subconscious seed that made me feel that my natural state is imperfect. Thereby, every time I would talk to myself, or I would say something to myself, or I would want to stand in the mirror and say, "You're beautiful." And then I would hear the echoes of, "No, you're not, because your hair is not straight. No, you're not, because your skin tone isn't even. No, you're not, because you're whatever it may be." I had to quiet that and realize that, no, I am beautiful. I am amazing. And I am the most perfect me. Even when I didn't feel it every day, I still would keep feeding my self-esteem that. I started doing small things to help boost my self-confidence, making little promises. Today I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to make sure that I keep myself in a way of life that is conducive to me, thereby living a lifestyle that my self-esteem will allow me to accept. And that's all our life should be. is a series of that, a series of doing things that makes us happy, that builds our self-esteem, that allows us to live a lifestyle that is the most conducive to us, you, your family, and all your loved ones. So how do you start changing that language of your self-esteem? There's a book that I bought a while back from thrift books, and I I saw it and I was like, oh, let me just get it. And I bought it and it came in and I put it down because I had to order like 6 books. So if you're anything like I like to read, but I'll have like 15 books that I'm reading at a time, but I'm working on focusing on one. So I picked up this book, The Psychology of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden, right? And I read the back of it and I was like, I've never read the book, so let me see what it says. And I'm just going to read the back of it. The one thing you need most in life is something only one person can give you. Facts. Now, I don't like all the language in the book. I may not agree with everything, but the basis of what's in here is spot on. Now, only you can give yourself the most precious gift in the world, a need and genuine sense of your own value, self-esteem. Now, in this fascinating, groundbreaking book, Nathaniel Branden answers the most basic questions. What is it? Why do you need it? What happens to you when it isn't there? Now, that, I was like, okay, I'm so going to read this book. But let me just to clarify, I don't agree with him saying need, because need shows a lack of having. It shows a desire. It shows that you're less than, and that's not the case. You have your self-esteem. Like I said, from the time you were born here on this earth, your self-esteem was there with you. Okay, it's the one thing that knows you just as good as you. So, or that's familiar to you, I should say, because I don't want to say no to make it seem like it's separate. Your self-esteem is you, so it's just a matter of how that's formed. Okay, but just that alone, I was like, this is great. And I suggest you go thriftbooks.com. They have some great books on there that are not really expensive, and just start feeding your mind different things. But I'm going to do a trilogy. I'm going to do a series and talk about self-esteem, some pointers from the book, some things that I've applied in my life naturally, so I know what works for me, I know what it does, and just start doing more of what I want to see in other people, because my sole desire is for all of us to just live the best us that we possibly can, because only you are the most perfect you, 100%. So, wealthy family, that is that. Look out for my self-esteem trilogy for my next 3 Mindset Mondays. And I hope that some of the pointers that I shared with you helps you and allows you to apply. Go out and do, because we can have all the knowledge in the world, and we're told that it's power, but it's not power unless it's applied. We have to start applying these stuff. We have to start doing and living. Again, creating a lifestyle. Let your happiness be your lifestyle in any unadulterated form, whatever form that may take. I guarantee you, if more of us started doing that, you would see things change on a most drastic level. Because a lot of the time people do things because they don't love themselves, they don't love the situation they're in, they don't love their life. So you start changing just the way that things are perceived, man. So with that being said, wealthy family, the mosquitoes are coming. They're trying to kiss me. I have my citronella going though, so but I'm going to end it here, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. And until next time, peace and love.